Welcome back. Day 2, stress. I promise that I won't tell you that you need to handle stress better without showing you how to handle stress better. I would imagine that everybody's doing their best to handle stress. So that's kind of like calling somebody an idiot. It just doesn't help. I'm going to give you some good stuff to help alleviate, lighten, lessen your stress and increase your stress resilience. First, let's get to know stress. Stress is pressure. And without the pressure of gravity, our bodies and our health wither away. Without the pressure of gravity, we'd never grow old enough to see our skin droop from gravity, which nobody seems to appreciate. But it's better than the alternative. Stress is essential. It's strengthening up to a point, and then it'll slowly tear you apart, starting with your weakest links. Genetics, what your grandparents died from, what Eastern docs call your constitution. We all have strengths and weaknesses. So if you're a fire constitution, your thyroid and hormones break down first. Where I'm clearly a metal constitution. I've had not one, but 2 autoimmune conditions in my life. A weak and sensitive immune system. And really, if most thyroid problems are now Hashimoto's, autoimmune, that's a metal problem too. Do you know if your thyroid problem is autoimmune? I can order thyroid antibodies for about $70, so you can know if you really want to know. We're dealing with inflammation as of yesterday anyway, so you're doing what you need to do regardless of the situation. But for simplicity, let's say fire constitution. So your thyroid wears out faster than any other organ. Then you have a major disruption. Thrown off track. Where you wanted to go isn't going to happen. Divorces are a big disruption. Deaths. Loss of a job, that kind of thing. Fire constitutions are natural, warm caretakers. So you help people a little too much and you get in a bind. Now somebody's mad at you, blames you for their problems. You soothe your stress with sugar or alcohol, which spikes your blood sugar, and it comes down hard on your adrenal glands. That's a stress that's not very helpful. Your adrenals are your stress glands. They're designed for natural stresses. Drought and famine. They hold up your blood sugar and your body hydration. Physiologically designed for drought and famine. Hard times. When water or food had to be rationed, they would chew on ginseng root, which seemed to strengthen the adrenals, so they could last longer. There are overwhelming pressures, of course. A boulder falling from a cliff would be too much to take. Too much pressure. But could you handle a drought? 3 years in a row. The weaker people would fall, and only the strong would survive. So let's get strong. If you have had too much pressure and your adrenal glands are tired or exhausted, you'll see that you can't even miss lunch without falling apart. You can't stay asleep through the night because your adrenaline is kicking in to keep your blood sugar from dropping dangerously low. Did you know that's what hangry is? Your adrenals produce cortisol and adrenaline. We know cortisol from the belly fat commercials and adrenaline from The Walking Dead. Normally, cortisol slowly rises overnight to make up for no food. You're fasting. But if cortisol production is low, your backup system is adrenaline. And even a tiny bit makes it impossible to sleep. Then when you miss lunch, you feel irritable, shaky, jittery, hangry. That's your friend, adrenaline. But it doesn't feel very good under these circumstances. Your labs show low LDH, hypoglycemia, and some blood sugar less than optimal finding. You'll see thyroid suppression. That's why we're here. This is how you see early adrenal fatigue. The adrenals telling the thyroid to slow it down. We can't keep up. Stress, overwhelm. That's what slowly tears you apart. Stress, overwhelm. Not stress. Too much stress. But I don't recall being taught how to deal with stress or boundaries. So I ran right into it. Working long and hard, worrying, using alcohol to relax, skipping lunches. My adrenal exhaustion smacked me right in the face. Sinus infection. Sudden onset. Felt like a knife in my face. And I couldn't shake it until I nurtured my adrenals back to health. Hard road. I wish I would have been taught what I'm teaching you today. You'll also see dehydration, low water in the blood, a high hematocrit. That's the test where they spin the tube so all the cells smash down in the bottom and the fluid sits on top. Less fluid means a higher number and dehydration. Unfortunately, you can't just drink a bunch of water. It'll just go right through you. Have you noticed that? If you drink a bunch of water, it just goes right through you and you end up in the bathroom? That's not normal or healthy. You've got to strengthen and heal your adrenals so that you can hold on to it. The last indicator of stress is low white blood cell counts. Your immune system weakens. You catch colds easier, maybe more allergic to stuff. So just from symptoms, you should be able to tell if stress is a factor. If you're in some stage of adrenal fatigue, and if you had me look at your labs, you know what stage. So now what? Pay attention to the logic here. Of course, this is what you would do. Health isn't complicated. It's exactly what you would expect. Eat protein and sip water every 2 hours to take blood sugar stress off the adrenals. I just put a bowl of almonds and dark chocolate goji berries on my desk and took a handful. I made it kind of yummy, so I would do it more often. I had whole foods, not man-made foods, at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But I wasn't perfect. I still had indulgences, sugar and alcohol. 80-20 roughly. I didn't count calories. I took some adaptogens, like ginseng. I hadn't discovered yet what thousands of years of caretaking found to be the best approach for worrying quite yet. But I did give it to you below. That means you should be able to recover faster than I did. I had to work less long, less hard, because I was in pain. I had to rest, just like your body forces you to rest. I had to learn to breathe and relax. One time the pain was so bad, I had to be meditatively still for 24 hours. Lots of sleep, but lots of holding still, because if I moved, the pain spiked. How's that for intensive meditation training? Eastern docs call that yin state. Yin is stillness, and people would sit as still as resting water, slowing their breath, making themselves feel as heavy as they possibly could, focusing on the breath. Count your breath if your mind runs. See how high you can get before it runs away again, and try to get higher the next time until you can just listen. Listen to your breath, your body, how each part feels, looking for tension anywhere that you can relax. In the cultures I studied, your caretaker would teach you these strategies when you were a kid. I hadn't been taught, and I didn't know about them when I broke down, but my body forced some of it. Now I take 15 minutes as many times a day as I need. That's caretaking, your body and mind, giving it time to charge up when you need it. You can start with 1 minute. Sometimes I fall asleep, it's okay, I set an alarm. Other times I use my mind to reflect on my results and look forward to connect to my vision and goals. I want your goal to be amazing health, but that's your choice. Whatever you're visualizing, return to wherever you're at currently. Take inventory of your current resources and contemplate your next best step towards that vision with the resources that you have available now. I try to sit and contemplate until something comes to me that makes my head go up and down. Yes, that's what I need to do next. I call that heart right. It just feels right. To increase stress resilience, do yin movements, holding a particular posture until you push into discomfort. Muscle burn and stretch. Every time you do it, try to get a little bit lower and hold a little bit longer. Your stress resilience will increase by the day. Do that in the worry protocol below. Monitor your labs. Remember to be open-minded. They pass these techniques along for thousands of years, improving every generation. So they're best practices of hundreds of generations. Tomorrow we're going to get into repairing the thyroid and nurturing energy production, which means metabolism, fat burning. See you tomorrow.